Hi, my name's Jackie Mitchell and welcome to We Are Biz. Our aim is to help small businesses and startups reignite, grow and develop. Let me introduce you to the rest of the team. Rob Holmes, Vinegar Creative, a website and branding agency, and Dave Webster from the Webster Consultancy IT specialist. I'm Jackie Mitchell, independent PR practitioner and copywriter. The format of our meeting is open networking to start with, followed by a webinar on topics which will interest small businesses. Our meetings are once a month on a Wednesday, and you'll find a list of them on our website, which is www.wearebiz.co.uk. Do book for one or more to learn new skills and make new contacts, and we look forward to seeing you at one of our meetings.
There we go. Hopefully you can all hear me now. Thank you very much, Jackie, for that introduction. This morning I want to talk to you about how to have your best ever 2022. Now, I guess for the more pedantically inclined of us, you'll also notice that we are only going to have our only ever 2022. But I'm going to let that pass for now and dive straight in. So it's probably worth saying that normally I give this talk, or a talk a bit like it, as a 2 to 3 hour workshop. It's very interactive, lots of chat and lots of feedback. But today, I am going to try and keep it to around 20 minutes. So I'm going to dive through. And as Jackie says, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or hopefully we'll have time for a brief Q&A afterwards. So where are we today? We're at the tail end, I hope, of the pandemic. We have just finished our Christmas and New Year break. We've had a chance to reflect. We've had a chance to think about what's 2022 going to be like for us. Hopefully, we will finally see the back of coronavirus in its most virulent form, but who knows? The secret, really, to having a good year is planning and making sure that you have a robust, sustainable plan for your business for the year ahead. And what I want to spend the next 20 minutes or so just taking you through is how to actually build that plan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through what I call the business growth roadmap, which is essentially a 10-point plan, which gives you a kind of a formula, if you like, for creating a business strategy that you can implement yourselves and hopefully will lead to a very successful and high growth year. And I'm using a slightly tortured analogy of travel and navigation to describe it. So the plan really breaks up into three main areas: direction of travel, planning the route, and finally driving the results. So I'm going to dive into the first section, which is direction of travel. And that is really all about, taking some of that reflection that we've been doing over the last few weeks and applying that to our business. And there are really four areas to this: our personal aspirations, our values and culture, the purpose that our business has, and the vision that we have for the business. So the first one is our personal aspirations. And this is a really, really important starting point, because none of us live to work. We all work to live. Our business is the thing that we have elected to do that will give us the kind of life that we want and allow us to achieve the kind of things that we want to achieve personally. So it's all about what motivates us personally, what drives our ambition, and why we want what we want. So the first thing I'd advise is take a little bit of time and think about, what is it that you want? What is it you want from your life this year? How do you want to spend your time, not just at work, but outside of work? And what is it that you want your work to give you in terms of personal fulfillment, in terms of relationships, in terms of being able to afford to do the things that you enjoy doing, the things that you want to do, and to enable you to sort of plan longer term for a future beyond 2022 as well. So that's the first piece, personal aspirations. Then we come on to values, and many of you will probably think, well, that's, I've seen plenty of values posted on big company websites and in the reception areas of their offices, and it's all nonsense. They all talk about the same thing: quality, trust, customer service, customer focus, all of those things, which are kind of a given. They're not really anything new. What I mean by values is really our personal values, your personal values in life. So it could be that you're a perfectionist. It could be that you love to get things done as quickly as possible. It could be the way you like to make people feel around you. Whatever those things are, the way you like people to behave towards you, try and capture them, try and note them down, try and think of them in terms of what that means to your business. Because at the end of the day, your business is a reflection of your personality, and then your business is a reflection of your values. So the way you do business is pretty much the way you would expect to treat other people and for other people to treat you. So if you can quantify that and start to sort of incorporate it into the way you think about your business, the way you operate your business, then that will really help you to find ultimately your most valuable customers, who very often are people that like to do business in the way that you like to do business. The next thing is the purpose of the business, the why, if you like, the reason that your company exists. And it's not really about what you do, but it's about how you make your customers feel, what value you bring to your customers, what they actually believe they're getting from you, and why they buy it from you. So asking your customers is a really good way of getting to the bottom of what you actually do and why you do it. A lot of big businesses get it wrong. I mean, I always talk about the example of Blockbuster Video, who were a massive name on the high street 2 decades ago. And they thought they were about giving people nice weekends. They could go into their shops, they could get their videos and DVDs, they could take them home and play them. They had the opportunity to buy Netflix for $20 million. They didn't take it. Netflix are now enormous, and Blockbuster Video don't exist anymore. Why? Because Blockbuster Video didn't bother to think about what their customers wanted, what their customers really buy from them. So it's really important understanding that, and the best way to find out, ask your customers and incorporate that into your planning. The next step is agreeing the destination. This is all about your vision for the year, what it is you want to achieve in terms of your revenue, your profitability, certain milestones that you might want to hit. You might want to introduce a new product range. You might be, desperate to get that business award that you just missed out on last year. Whatever those visionary goals are, again, capture them, quantify them, write them down, because that will help you build your roadmap for the year ahead. And we come on to how you apply that a little bit later. So we've looked at our aspirations, we've looked at our values, we've looked at the purpose of the business, and we've looked at the vision for the business. We've agreed the destination. So we've got the direction of travel pretty much sorted. The next section is about planning the route, and this is where we start to dive into the detail of the business and how you operate it. The first thing I like to do is to take a look outside the business and look at external factors that might influence your business. Nothing you can do about them. They exist in the world. Your business has to adapt to them, much in the same way as we've had to adapt to operating in the pandemic during the time of COVID. Same goes for this, whether it's social trends, whether it's the development of new technology that could impact your business, whether it's the economic environment in which we operate, or whether it's some kind of political, legal, or regulatory change that has an impact on you. All of these things are going to hit you one way or another. If you don't have a plan for them, they're going to blindside you, and they could derail your business. If you're anticipating them, then the chances are that you've turned a risk into an opportunity. Great example of this, pandemic related, the financial director the Lawn Tennis Association, was looking at their insurance policies in 2018, noticed they didn't have pandemic insurance, persuaded the board to spend an awful lot more on their premiums to get themselves pandemic insurance. They spent £3 million on their insurance. 2020, COVID hits. Wimbledon tournament is cancelled for the year. They were able to make a claim for £250 million from their insurance policy, kept them afloat. Nobody would have known about that. No one would have thought about it unless they'd taken trouble to look at the risks external to their business. That's why it's important. Make a plan for that. Next step is to really take a good look inside the business itself. Take a look at all of the working parts of your business and start to build a picture of how they fit together and what the most important elements are. So usually I start with your customers. Your most valuable customers are the ones that buy into your vision, understand your purpose, behave in the way that you kind of like people to behave, and just get your business. So who are they? How do they operate? Where do they live? What do they read? How do you engage with them? Also, your products and services. Many businesses probably haven't written down or annotated their most popular products and services. What are they? Who do you sell most of your products to? Which of your products do you sell the most of, and who do you sell them to? One good way of growing your business without too much effort is to build a matrix, put your top 10 customers on one side, put your range of products and services on the other side, and then just tick the box where your customer buys each of your products. If there are gaps, there's a business growth opportunity there. But also it's about looking at other factors that might influence the business, the margins and profits that you make. Are the products that sell the most the ones with the highest margin? For example, is your supply chain as effective as it can be? What are your competitors like? What do they sell? What do they do that's different to you? And what are the key relationships that you have outside of your supply chain in your business? And you start to pull all of this together, you will start to draw insights, and those insights give you a sense of where the opportunities for future growth might lie. And we touch on this later, but this is a really important area, one that I would normally spend a lot more time than this on, but really getting under the skin of the business and understanding what makes it tick is key to building a successful strategy as you go. And it gives you a lot of ideas that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise have had. Then we look at ourselves, we look at the business, we look in the mirror, and we ask ourselves, what are we great at? What's the business really good at doing? Where can we make improvements? And that can be lots of little things. Do we need to upgrade the website? In which case, speak to Rob. Do we need to improve our technology solutions? In which case, speak to Dave, and so on. Where can we make improvements to make ourselves better? What vulnerabilities do we have? And that's usually an over-reliance on something. So it could be an over-reliance on a particular customer. Maybe you're getting, half your revenue from one customer. If they went away overnight, then your business would be in trouble. So where are those vulnerabilities? Could be a member of staff, for example. But most importantly, what is the edge? What is the thing that makes my business stand out from all of the other businesses that do more or less what I do? And that's something that probably is quite obvious to you, because that's part of the reason that you founded the business in the first place, and it's what's in your marketing. However, it's important to test that edge, because quite often, what you think of as an edge, your customers might not agree so much, and they might think of it more as a feature. So the questions that you ask are, what does it make us better? Does it make us different? Do our customers appreciate it? And most importantly, do our most valuable customers appreciate it? And most of all, are they prepared to pay for it? Because if a customer isn't prepared to pay for your edge, for your differentiation point, then it's not much use to you. And the key to this is to stay out of the eye of the storm. Every business needs a way to differentiate itself. Every business finds a way to differentiate itself. If you're in real trouble, you end up differentiating by offering lower prices than your competitors. That means you've got lower margins. That means your competitors are fighting you on price. Ultimately, it's a race to the bottom and nobody wins. So it's better to find different ways to differentiate, whether you're disrupting the market, whether you have a particular niche that is very difficult for competitors to break into, whether it's all about quality and service, but work through all of those things and find your competitive edge, because that is what will drive your growth going forward. So in this section, then, we've looked at planning the route. We've looked at the elements that affect that, looking outside the business, doing a future-proofing step analysis, looking at our market, looking at the business, looking at the opportunities that brings, and then doing this gives analysis and asking, what is it that gives us an edge, and is it a valid edge? Is it something that we can sustain and build on? Having done all of that, we are now ready to move to the final section, which is about building the strategy and driving results. So we're ready to build a business strategy. People are often quite, again, cynical about that word strategy. It's a sort of a big business word. It's the sort of thing that a corporate would develop, but actually it's a lot more simple than that. Really, a strategy is all about just answering these questions. How are you going to use your sustainable competitive advantage? What are you and your team, either internal or external, going to be focusing on in order to achieve that? And what is it that's going to make the biggest impact to your business with the most efficient effort expended? So the next step is therefore about finding the focus. We're building a strategy. We are creating an approach to the business that looks at our sales, our marketing, our people, our finance and our cash flow, our supply chain, our operations and IT and processes, and any contingency elements that may be required. That requires leadership. That requires you as business owners to grasp the bull by the horns, to build that plan, and then to engage your team, either internal or external, or in fact both internal and external, to organize your business around that strategy, and then to implement it and turn that strategy into an action plan. That's very often the hardest part. It's fine coming up with a great set of ideas on paper. Making them real is the difficult part. And that's really where we come in and help you focus on delivering an action plan and turning it into reality. First step in that process is really to press the reset button to reach a point where you've completed your strategy and now you begin that process of implementation. A great way to start is to engage your team, internal and external. Push the strategy to them, talk to them about the strategy, talk to them about your plans, share the challenges that you have, and most importantly, get their input and their ideas, and then implement those and incorporate them into your plan. The more people have a sense of ownership and involvement in a plan, the more engaged with it they will be, and the more motivated they will be to deliver their element of it. So put it out there, get feedback, incorporate that feedback, and give the team some ownership. Whilst we're on the subject of team, again, internal and external, it's really important that you have the right team around you to make sure that you've got the means with which to execute the plan and turn it into reality. And that may mean that you've got to implement the 6 R's, which are about looking at your team, understanding who you're going to retain, who you need to recruit, who you need to release, who just doesn't fit, who's good but is in the wrong job and needs retraining, how are you going to reward your team, and how are you going to recognize their achievements. Now, and I know a lot of us are smaller businesses and we don't have employees of our own, but nonetheless, this can equally be applied to that supporting team of external freelancers, service providers that we work with. We need to surround ourselves with the right people that are going to give us the best opportunity to really deliver on our vision and our plan. So we're pretty much there. We've now worked out why we're doing it, what our personal aspirations are, our values, what we stand for and believe in, our purpose, the difference that we make, how we make our customers feel. We've agreed our destination and set our vision. We factored in external influences and looked at future-proofing against them. We've understood the opportunities that exist in our specific market to accelerate growth. We've taken a look at the mirror and done that GIVS analysis to understand our capabilities. We've understood what our unique competitive advantage actually is. We have a strategy that has been developed from that, and we've engaged the team and pressed the reset button. Now is the time to make it happen. The first thing that we need to do is to do the numbers, and that means a forecast and a budget. And building a forecast for the year ahead is absolutely critical, because it means then that you have that roadmap to follow to ensure that you can deliver against those targets. And if you're missing those targets, then you're getting an early warning system saying, hang on a minute, I'm off on my turnover for February. What's the problem with it? What do I need to change? How do I alter things to get back on track? And what does that mean for March and the rest of the year? So building a detailed forecast, which includes your expected turnover, what your cost of selling your goods or services is, what the gross profit, i.e. turnover less cost of sales, is going to be, what your overheads, the cost of running the business day to day, whether that's rent, rates, people, IT, etc., subscriptions, all of those things go into overheads. At the end of it, you get your bottom line profitability. Do that on a month-by-month basis. You've got your roadmap that relates back to the vision that we talked about earlier on. So it's an important way of then turning that vision into something that is tangible and real, and gives you a set of measurable steps that you need to reach each month in order to achieve it. Alongside that, and what you should do at the same time, is create a sales plan. And this is about how you are actually going to build the business and deliver that forecast. So you start by looking at your most valuable customer, who they are, establish some targets for growing your existing business. That matrix that I talked about, aligning your products and services to your top 10 customers, finding the gaps, selling those gap products to your top customers is a great way of doing that. Then you need to set some business development targets for new business, and establish some marketing plans to start to attract that your most valuable customer set to do business with you. Setting out sales forecasts for individual products and services is then important, and actually making them time bound as well, so that you are matching your sales forecast to your overall business forecast. Looking at how many leads you need to be able to get to convert a sufficient number of customers into business to hit your targets, and then building a conversion plan around that to make sure that you are chasing enough leads to generate the business that you need. And then setting clear targets for your sales activity and your sales team to make sure that the sales are delivering to your larger plan, and then incorporating the whole thing into your wider forecast, getting it out to the team, giving your team individual targets so that they know what is expected of them and what they need to achieve in order to deliver against that plan. And then coming back to that reward and recognition piece, making sure that they understand what the rewards are and the benefits to them are going to be for achieving those targets. Once you have that, I mean, this is a real whistle-stop tour. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that we could talk about around organizational structure, around process and systems, which need to be as slick and efficient as they possibly can be in order to cut out the friction that might prevent you from hitting your targets. We're not going to have time to dive into that, but that is an important part of the mix. Just to summarize then, coming to the end now, your strategy should be something that you live with every day. It's an important part of your business. It's not just a document that you put on the shelf and forget about. It lives and breathes. It's visible in the business. It needs to be feasible. It needs to be measurable. You need to be able to say, right, I've got a milestone. I'm going to hit it, and I know I've hit it because I've achieved this target. It needs to be time specific, so you know that if you keep to your milestone deliverables, then you will hit your strategic plan. And most of all, it needs to be flexible and fun. Things change, circumstances change, business opportunities change. You need, as a small business, to be agile enough and flexible enough to adapt to them. Your strategy needs to be the same. So that's it. That's how I think you will have your best ever 2022, or best ever year, ideally. Build a plan, stick to the plan. Don't ignore what your plan is telling you. Listen to what it's telling you, and you will, I hope, have a very successful year as a result. At Business Doctors, here's the pitch. We're able to help. Most importantly, I offer a free 1-hour business health check. That is just an hour where we can sit down, talk about where you are with your business, what your plans and aspirations are for it, what challenges you face, and see if there are some ways that we can sort of help unlock a growth plan that would work for you. Final thoughts then. First of all, it's worth taking a bit of time out of the business to actually work on a strategy. It's very easy to get wrapped up in the day-to-day. This will really help you to think broader and see the wood for the trees. Create a vision that's inspiring, both to yourself and to your employees. It needs to get you up in the morning and get you into work with real vim and vigor and enthusiasm. Remember, it's the people around you that will deliver the vision for you. It's not just you. They need to be inspired by it. They need to own it. And remember, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes time. There may be a few false starts. Don't lose hope. Don't lose focus. Just go back and replan, and everything will work out fine. And that concludes my talk.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Paul. That was a fantastic talk. Thank you so much. So now it's the question and answer session. So I'm going to hand over to Rob.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. So does anyone have any questions to Paul? I mean, first, I'd just like to say, Paul, I thought that was brilliant, really good. And you did very well. I think you said it was like a whole day and you crammed it into 20 minutes. So well done there.
I don't know if I made it in 20 minutes, but hopefully it was not too far.
Yeah, you did a very good job. So if we could all do that, it'd be great. A whole day in 20 minutes. Has anyone got any questions for Paul? I'm sure there's lots, but okay, yeah. Shirley.
You need to unmute it.
I have, yeah. Paul, I just want to say that that was so useful, because I'm in a completely different situation from everybody else. I'm a part of a network marketing company. So no, there's no employees. We're all independent. But everything you said, I can build in for myself and for my team. That was just so useful. Thank you.
Good.
Doesn't often happen that it fits around network marketing, but that did. Thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Any other questions? Yeah, David, sorry, go for it.
Where do you find people's business plans go wrong most often?
Oh, that's a very good question. It's usually because enthusiasm gets the better of practicality, I think. When you're sitting down with a piece of paper and drawing out your vision, then it's very easy to get carried away. It's very easy to imagine that you can change the world overnight, and that actually the implementation of it is going to be dead easy. And nothing is further from the truth. As we all know, as small business owners, the actual implementation is incredibly difficult and often takes longer, is harder, and requires more resource than you ever thought it would. And so I think overestimating the benefit, underestimating the effort is the usual challenge. And the solution to that is putting some rigor into the planning process. So you've got a realistic expectation of what effort is going to be required to be expended in order to generate the return that you want. And I think that's about, usually I often say to people, take your initial vision. That's great. That's your sort of beacon on the horizon. If you hit it, fantastic. Realistically, halve it, and you're probably there or thereabouts.
Good answer. Any
Thank
more
you.
questions? Yeah, Charles?
This is a silly question, really, but towards the end of your talk, you had a slide which showed a picture of a sat-nav, and you were asking the question, were we going to follow the sat-nav or not? The clock on the sat-nav displayed the time 11:59, and I just wanted to ask if you were meaning to imply that we're all in the last minute of the 11th hour.
Wow. I hadn't even noticed, I'm afraid to say. I think that is entirely coincidental. I could be.
Or maybe
I'll leave that to you to decide.
Maybe just running 10 minutes fast, eh?
Quite.
Sorry, any more questions? Maybe the final question?
So Paul, you talked about finding the competitive edge. Do you have any tips or advice on how companies can identify what their competitive edge is?
Well, I always think the best way to find that is to ask your customers. Your customers will know far better than you, what it is they get from you and what it is they get from your business. And usually, if you gather, half a dozen customers together and ask them the same set of questions, you will start to get a reasonably consistent set of answers, and that will give you a much, much clearer picture of what your point of differentiation is. Most of us have an idea of what we think differentiates our business. I doubt any of us here don't think we're differentiated in some way. The question is that the real differentiation? And I've come across lots of businesses that have actually thought they did something, and then when they've asked their customers, they've told them something completely different.
Interesting. Thank you.
We've got time for maybe one more question. Is there any more questions or? Okay, no worries. Over to you, Jackie.
Okay, then. Well, that concludes our meeting. So feedback is important to us. So do engage with us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also do subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I'd like to reiterate what Dave said at the beginning, that the We Are Biz founders are keen to set up a Zoom meeting to review our services. So I think Dave has got another slide which gives you a reminder of what we can offer. So if you'd like to take us up on that, please do get in touch with one of us, and we can take it from there. So I'd like to, just to go through that, then you've got Rob Holmes, Vinegar Creative websites, Dave Webster, the Webster Consultancy IT, and I am a PR practitioner and copywriter. So now moving on then to some more of our meetings, our forthcoming meetings. On Wednesday, the 9th of February next month at 11 o'clock, Rob Holmes from Vinegar Creative will be giving a webinar on how to build a successful website. So Rob, would you like to give us a few words about it?
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So as Jackie said, next one's from me. So it's how to build a successful website. What I will look at different platforms out there, maybe some ideas of what platform may best suit you, and then we look at some sort of tricks and tips of how to build a website the easy way, as I'm calling it. And I will be giving a sort of free checklist of stuff to include on your website, choosing the right template, and adding videos and that sort of stuff. So some real sort of some real bits to actually help you if you want to build a website yourself. And sort of the next step forward in looking at building a website.
Thank you very much, Rob. And then on March the 9th at 11 o'clock, Dave Webster from the Webster Consultancy will be giving a webinar on technology changes for 2022, how to keep your phone ringing. So to find out more about that and to book for these events, do visit our website, www.wearebiz.co.uk. So we look forward to seeing you next month. So it's goodbye from me, Rob.
Goodbye from me.
And Dave.
Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming, and hopefully see you again next month.
And a big thank you to our speaker today, Paul. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 See you next month.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.